All right, family. Thank you for your patience once again. We about to get it on. We about to get it on. Thank you for your patience. Tell your friends and family. Black Magic is now live. I'm with a I'm with a young legend tonight. All
Much
right.
appreciated.
Yeah, yeah. Um, let's get this thing. So let's before we get started, I want to let everybody get situated. Let's get to a quick commercial from King Simon. We're gonna get to a quick commercial from King Simon, and then we're gonna get things going. All right, family. Be back in about 30 seconds. All right.
Numerovation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You could also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You could also get my books on Amazon at linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the Numerovator.
All right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome back to the platform. This brother be on the internet doing his thing. A lot of people told me I need to have this brother on the show. Found the brother's Instagram. Man, every episode we have done this year has been absolutely amazing. Without further ado, I want to welcome back RFG, the chosen one. Welcome back.
What's up? What's up? I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. Always a great conversation with your own when you're on. Like I always say, when you come on the channel, you have an amazing Instagram that always inspires amazing dialogue. And I call you, be like, yo, let's talk about this. Yo, let's talk about that.
Yep.
Before we get started, I'm just curious, what's your thoughts on everything going on right now with the election and the direction you see things are going in this country? What are your thoughts on everything before we get started with the whole topic?
It's good, very good question. And what I would say is anytime the media wants the masses of Americans to feel a certain way, um, anytime there's a situation in the States where the masses want something like an agenda passed, or they want a certain benefit, they want a more convenient life, they want more sensible laws to be passed. Anytime where that happens on a mass level, the government is going to make sure that it doesn't happen. All right. So for instance, when we go back to the year 2016, everybody was against Trump. Everybody thought Trump was a joke. Everybody thought Trump was a clown. Everybody thought Trump was incompetent. And they thought that Hillary was going to end up defeating Donald Trump. You see what I'm saying? And that didn't end up happening. What happened was the completely unexpected outcome. Trump actually, taking the election. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
in 2020, people thought that Trump was going to get reelected, and it didn't happen. So in this situation with 2024, we have every demographic imaginable in the states that's coming out saying that they're supporting Trump. We have the QAnon pushers, the white militias. Most so-called black men are getting together and showing support for Trump. Most of the naturalized citizens in this country are voting for Trump. And I don't believe it's going to happen, because Trump, even though he is a puppet of the elites to a degree, he doesn't stand for all of the agendas that they want pushed at this time. And Kamala Harris, on the other side, she actually stands for all of the agendas that the elites want pushed at this time. So that's why I firmly believe that she's going to be the 47th president of the United States.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Oh man. Any particular thoughts on Kamala before we get started, or she's just a puppet like everybody else?
She's a puppet like everybody else, but she's a lot worse. She's a lot worse. Every agenda you can think about it, from open borders to immigrants getting incentives that citizens don't get, abortion, LGBTQ, transhumanism, the trans agenda, the Go Green hoax, the global warming Go Green hoax. She's pushing that. Billions and billions of dollars to to foreign nations, which we don't need. Hyperinflation, massive amounts of pointless spending. If she gets in office, I can guarantee an economic depression, a civil war / revolution, and maybe even a World War III scenario if she gets in.
Yikes. All right. Well, I just wanted to get your opinion on that. And that was an opinion. Wow. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from, brother, with that in terms of Kamala and what she represents and what Trump represents. And it's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah.
So let's get started with the topic tonight. Fix my thing. All right, so where's this thing? I want to share this on the screen. As I said, family, I'm always inspired by RFG's Instagram, and I'll be hitting them up like, yo, we gotta talk about this. So let me read y'all something real quick.
Okay.
Let me read y'all something real quick. You probably can't see it on the screen, but it's there. All right. It says the zoo hypothesis. All animals, most plants, and all fungi were purposely and strategically. The demon responsible for creating life on the earth needed to find a way to make an ever-passing flow of loosh. So you can constantly feed on the loosh. The draconians and insectoids who served Yaldabaoth started genetically engineering species of animals, new species of plants, and pardon me, fam. Oh man, new species. I just finished eating. Pardon me. And new species of fungi. This was done so Yaldabaoth could create a giant ecosystem on Earth. Every herbivore they genetically engineered to existence has a carnivore counterpart. Every time a carnivore eats a herbivore alive, mass amounts of loosh are released into the atmosphere. The Archon deities feed upon the loosh every time a carnivore eats a herbivore alive. This is why so many life forms had to be created on this planet. On a physical level, Earth is a gene splicing experiment / zoo controlled by the draconians and insectoids. On a spiritual level, Earth is a soul trap in a loosh harvesting farm. Even the monetary system they created for humans is all about harvesting loosh from silly, mundane humans. Silly humans. These hundreds of millions of different species didn't get here by accident. Every other day, there's a new species of plant or animal that's being discovered. All the scientists are doing is finding new creatures that were released into the wild after being genetically engineered by the overlords of humanity. To keep the giant loosh farm in motion, humans are an extremely mundane, arrogant, narcissistic, sociopathic species, and I'm here to tell most of you on 3D Earth, your entire existence is nothing but the Archon's experiments.
That's right.
Wow. That's some. Hey man, you're gonna have to explain this one. I need you to explain this one here. A giant loose farm, the animals, the plants, the whole ecosystem. Elaborate on this post, my brother. Please elaborate on it.
Well, when we look at this, we have to view this from a very logical perspective, and then we have to think about something which is called chance and probability. So in this solar system, right, we have 9 total planets, and on 8 of those planets, there's no life on the surface. There's no life on the surface of 8 of the 9 planets in this entire solar system. But when we get to the 3rd planet away from the sun, which is Earth, right? When we get here, not only is there life on this Earth, this earth is just dripping. It's literally dripping with life. I mean, hundreds of millions of different species. I mean, it's profound. It is universally and on a galactic level, it's absolutely profound. And I just don't think that's a coincidence. And then on top of the fact of there being hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of different species of life on this earth, the life on this earth is categorized and it is organized into a structure called an ecosystem where everything is in order. It's maintained in order and balance and complete synchronicity on a mass level. And I just believe something like that it can't happen by chance. Now, most people will say that the so-called gods of monotheism snapped their fingers and life just magically popped up. I don't believe that. I believe that intelligent creators did create this ecosystem, but they created most of these creatures in laboratories. That's the difference.
Mm. Hmm. So, I need you to explain this concept of needing an everlasting flow of loosh. A lot of us know what it is. Some of us don't. Could you explain to me what loosh is?
Loosh, on a physical level, is a hormone that is secreted from living entities when we experience high levels of fear and high levels of negative emotion. Anytime a creature is experiencing high levels of negative emotion, there are glands in their brain that are secreting a substance called loosh. And the global elites that run the human world, they actually pay top dollar for the loosh substance. And there's physical loosh, which is a liquid secreted by the brain, and then there's a spiritual loosh, which is just the negative frequency that the archons feed on. So on both levels, physical and a spiritual, on a physical level, the global elites feed upon the loosh. They believe that they get powers from the loosh, and then on a spiritual level, the archons get their power and they get their hunger quenched or satisfied by feeding upon the negative energy from the loosh.
Do you think all of the elites, and I mean all the nations, let's name some: Cuba, Russia, Netherlands, Canada, South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, and the list goes on, Iraq, are all of these nations, according to your research, regardless of who the leader is, are they all controlled by the archons? Are the archons the one making the laws in all of these nations? And they're just using the elite, these people in the elite, as faces?
Definitely in between 95% and 98% of all nations are under draconian or archonian control. Most of the leaders around the world, their frequency is so low that their aura field is weak. And when your aura field is weak, you allow yourself to get taken over by spiritual entities or low frequency entities, which in the Middle Eastern culture, they call them jinns. Every culture has a different name for these demonic, parasitic, demonic entities. You have the jinn, then you have the archon. You see what I'm saying? So on and so forth. And these leaders are literally possessed by these deities. Now, when we talk about photography only can capture light waves that vibrate in the photon spectrum, usually. But sometimes the camera can pick up on light waves that are leaving the photon spectrum, or sometimes light waves that are outside of the photon spectrum. So sometimes when we take a picture of certain people's eyes and certain people's pupils, we can see light waves or, you know, entities that exist outside of the photon spectrum. And that's why sometimes we get these world leaders that have slit pupils, just like reptiles, you know?
Hmm. So you're in. I don't know if I asked you this before in a previous show. I might have, but you're in agreement with the whole David Icke theory of shapeshifting.
Absolutely. I believe not only are there draconian shapeshifters, I believe there's insectoid shapeshifters that can go in and out of the third and the fourth dimension.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So basically, for everybody listening, when we're vibrating at a low frequency, let's say we're arguing, gossiping, just being jealous of someone, or just vibrating on low frequency, that basically opens us up for possession. That's what you're saying.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And when it comes to the real elites that run the, you know, the human society, they live underground, and they're called the black budget government. So I believe the black budget government is actually making these clones of people who lived in the ancient days, and they're putting these clones under either MK Ultra or completely demonic possession. It could be one or the other, it could be both. But one thing I do know is most of our leaders are they're not even organic people, they're clones.
Mm.
And this is done because the black budget government, they don't want to take a chance of having an organic soul in power, because if they have an organic soul in power, they take a chance of that leader rebelling against the black budget government.
So what's the difference between the black budget government and the deep state?
It's pretty well. People think the deep state is like the British monarchy and the 13 royal families and the Vatican, which is true. But even those entities have to answer to the black budget government. The black budget government, they are the beings that are controlling the whole world militaries, all world militaries. They're the ones conducting this top secret experiments where they mix human DNA with animal DNA, different groups of animal DNA together, where they're torturing people, harvesting Morlouche, and then extracting organs and genetic material from people, so they can create different forms of technology based off of the body parts that they stole.
Mm. Wow. In terms of organic souls, some people said that I've heard people say that one of the reasons, like, people wonder, because people see Kamala, right? So people see Kamala, possibility might be the next president. People seen Obama be president. We've seen Colin Powell. He was up there in the ranks. We've seen Condoleezza Rice, and I don't know where she's from, but a lot of people will say that they will allow a black person who's not organic to the land to be president, but they will never allow a so-called African American to be president. What's your thoughts on the idea that, hey, you could be black and president as long as you're not an African American black? If that is truth, why is that true?
That's because the aura that's possessed by so-called Black Americans or descendants of the Washita, that lineage possesses the strongest aura in the world. You see, the Americas is the fire nation on this earth. We're the fire nation. So that means we have the most pizzazz. The neuromelanin in the so-called Black American is the most powerful and the most potent. So that makes that lineage, it gives a very powerful aura, and that's why part of the reason why we're recognized as the fire nation.
So could you, if we're and that's interesting. You saying the Americans in this land and Americas is the fire nation. Who's the water nation? Who's the air nation? Who's the earth nation? You know, so on and so forth. Who's the other nations?
The water nation is the Polynesian islands, and then far East Asia, far East Asia. And when I say the Polynesian islands and the far East Asians, I'm talking about the original Polynesians and the original East Asians, which are the Ainu. They're the Asiatic Mers, and they're the Ainu.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to know what they look like, you can just research Papua New Guinea, the indigenous population of Papua New Guinea. You'll see the dark skin, you'll see the slanted eyes, you'll see the afros, you'll see the symmetrical facial features, just like so-called Black Americans. And they are their true natives or indigenous to the Polynesian Islands and East Asia. And that's the real water nation. The air nation right now is Europe and the Middle Eastern countries. Europe, Russia, and the Middle Eastern countries would be considered the air nation. Now, when you deal with air, you're talking about Gemini dealing with communication devices. Who's known for mass producing the communication devices, which is modern day technology, smartphones, smart laptops. That's people of European and Arab and Asian descent. Also, who controls the world courts? Now, why I mention the world courts is when you look at the Libra scales, the Libra scales deal with court, justice, and law. Now, who runs court, justice, and law in the world courts? It goes back to Europe. Then we go to the highest air sign, which is Aquarius. Aquarius is artificial technology, advanced technology, humanitarian organizations, things of that nature. That's ruled by European nations.
Mm-hmm.
So, they would have to be the air nation. Then the earth nation, of course, is Africa, because Africa is the only continent that literally has a route that goes to the core of the earth, to the outside of the core of the earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, no, very, very interesting. Very interesting. I'm still thinking about what you said about the Fire Nation. It's funny because I talk to the astrologers and stuff like that, and I'm a Virgo, so I'm an Earth sign. And I always tell King Simon, he does numerology, and I tell the people, I always tell him, I feel like fire though. I always tell them, I feel like I got this connection. They be like, you an Earth sign. I'm like, yeah, but I resonate with fire. In my meditations and everything, it always involves a candle, some type of fire or something like. But I always tell King Simon that. So when you said that, that makes sense to me. That resonates with me. I'm part of the Fire Nation, y'all.
Also, if you check your natal chart, if you check your natal birth chart, you might have planets in fire signs like Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. It could be a possibility. That's why looking at the chart is important.
Oh yeah. Wow. All right. Peace to the family. This conversation, we started out so good, man. Peace to everybody in the chat. We started out sizzling. Speaking of fire, we started out sizzling. Let me ask you this, RFG. So, since everybody's talking about the age of Aquarius, since everybody's talking about the return of the golden age, what happens to the archons during this time? What happens to them?
The more our DNA strands receive light codes from the center of the galaxy and from the inner sun and the outer sun, the more our DNA evolves back to what it once was during Atlantis. The more that process happens, the more this matrix is going to be destroyed. And the only way they're going to counteract that is with mass distractions. Environment. They have to maintain mass distractions, poisoning our DNA, and then poisoning our environment. You see, everybody thinks that, nuclear warfare, everything is going to be, wiped out with nuclear warfare. That's hogwash. And let me explain why that's hogwash. Because the Archons and the Draconians would never destroy their Loosh factory. Why would they why would they destroy their prison house? You see what I'm saying? Where they get free loosh, and they're the kings of this realm. Why would they destroy it? You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
so instead of destroying it, you just poison the population, with the whats, in our bodies, and that they're putting in the skies, they're putting in the water, they're putting in the GMO foods, and then you have mass distractions, which is your sports, your entertainment, most of what's on social media.
So RFG, if we have, just if it's going to be as above, so below, and we got good guys and bad guys down here, and we talk about Trump is not all the way with them, but somewhat with them, and Kamala. If we got Kamala versus Trump, who's the Archons versus? If it's Kamala versus Trump on the physical plane, is Archons versus who on the spiritual plane?
It'd have to be Archons versus the old souls that are tired of this realm, that are tired of this parasitic loosh farm. You see what I'm saying? We have younger souls in here, and this is one of their first incarnations here. So they haven't gotten the opportunity to receive all the light codes that this realm has to offer. So you have old souls, and then you have younger souls. Usually older souls are born in a family with mostly younger souls. And that's why the older souls, we feel outcasted and shunned and ridiculed in this life. Because in this realm, the older souls are outnumbered by the younger souls.
What would you say, Bob? By what percentage you would say?
Well, the older souls, of course, are going for Trump. The newer souls are going for Kamala. If Kamala gets in, even though Kamala is on a lower vibration, if she gets in, the matrix is going to crumble quicker. Because when we look at this from a broader perspective here, both Trump and Kamala are puppets. So Trump would keep the matrix up and going longer. If Kamala gets in, it's going to be destroyed quicker because of her policies. So, but if you look at it from a broad perspective, it's actually a good thing that the matrix is going to crumble quicker if Kamala gets in. I mean, don't we get tired of paying taxes to a government that is actively killing us and actively stealing our birthright? Don't we get tired of going to work for corporations that don't give a damn about us? Don't we get tired of asking politicians for handouts and instead of getting together with like-minded people so we can obtain our own resources? Don't we get tired of the rat race? So if we're tired of the rat race, shit, let Kamala get in and let it be and let it be destroyed quick. Seriously, let it be destroyed quicker.
Oh, this is a good show, y'all, ain't it? This is a good show, y'all, ain't it? Oh man. Oh man. So talk to me about we mentioned words like loose, we mentioned words like the archons. For those who may not be aware, like I just shared your Instagram post, who's Yaldabaoth? Could you tell the people who may not know who is Yaldabaoth?
Yaldabaoth goes by many names according to different cultures. In the Dogon culture, the Dogon referred to this deity as Ogo. So that's O-G-O, Ogo. And according to the Dogon, as well as the Gnostics, this deity was a subordinate deity that broke away from the true creator of this galaxy. The creator of this galaxy, they referred to her as Amma. Amma had 8 children, and Ogo was one of them. All 8 children were actually twins, so it was 4 twins. And something happened with Ogo, because Ogo was not born with his twin. So what happened is Ogo took a piece of Amma's placenta, and against her her authority, and from that placenta, he created the earth. And he created the earth to be a luge harvesting factory because he didn't have a twin. He didn't have a twin to get energy from. So they're saying that he created the earth, to get energy, to get energy and to put energy back out. But Yaldabaoth's realm, the realm that he created, it's nothing but an energy recycling farm. That's all nature. When we talk about three-dimensional nature, all it is an energy recycling farm. There's a water cycle. There is a nitrogen cycle. There's a carbon cycle on the earth. All the energy forms on earth go through cycles, including the souls of sentient beings. So Yaldabaoth, through his own arrogance, through his own pride, through his own low frequency, he literally created a realm which is based on creatures feeding upon each other. And while the animals feed on each other, while humans themselves feed on each other, Yaldabaoth and the Archons is feeding on all of us. And that's why they want us divided. They want us warring with each other. They want us split up over petty differences. Because the lower the frequency and the more divided we are, the more vulnerable we are. And just united we stand, divided we fall. But this realm in a sense it's nothing but a giant Ferris wheel. It's Yaldabaoth's Ferris wheel. And you can think about the souls being reincarnated into new bodies over and over again, and you can also compare that to the different forms of energy that go through recycling processes on the earth. The goal is for us sentient beings to reach a high enough vibration to where we can break away from Yaldabaoth's realm and get closer to Amma. And you see what I'm saying? So that right there is called moksha. Moksha.
Moksha.
Yep.
When that's when we break the reincarnation cycle.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And that right there is why they spend billions and even trillions of dollars on entertainment industries and industries that are specifically designed to lower the human frequency.
What do you think about the Olympics, RFG? What's your thoughts on that? Spiritually speaking, the purpose of it, the origin of it.
I mean, on a spiritual level, I'd have to say that it's just another distraction. And if you really want to get deep, the Olympics, that name comes from the Olympians, and the Olympians are the Archons that are responsible for defeating and imprisoning the Titans, which is our souls. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? The primordial souls getting imprisoned in this meat suit and in this parasitic realm, that is literally the Titans getting trapped in our prison. And the Olympians are responsible for that. The Olympians are pro-matrix. The Titans are anti-matrix. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like you said, the Olympics in a nutshell, it's a big ritual, and it's a distraction on a spiritual level.
Let me ask you, I've heard people into the spiritual community say that the old souls, as you refer to, they choose to come down here to wake up humanity to who they are. Is there a way, do you think it's possible for the Archons? They say we fall through the realms, we fall through the octaves, we fall through different levels before we hit this realm here. Do you think they can spot an old soul before it gets to this realm and say, oh shit, hell no, that one is not coming down here. We got to stop RFG from reincarnating, or we have to stop Brother Rich from do they do that? Like, can they stop old souls from reincarnating because they can spot it energetically?
It's very possible, and that could be the reason why we've experienced tens of millions of abortions in the past 20 to 20, no, I'll say the past 35, about 30, past 35 years, think there's been over 25 million abortions in the States. And out of those 25 million abortions, how many of those could have been, a spiritually enlightened being that was sent back here to wake people up? We could have had maybe 20 of them. We could have maybe even had 1,000 of them. You know what I'm saying? 1,000 people willing to overthrow this matrix. Who knows? But I do know anything is possible, and the archons are definitely capable of sensing which soul is who, which soul went through which experiences, which souls know what, and who is who. There is an animal on the planet that is actually able to locate a human soul, no matter where it goes on the earth, and that is a cat. That is and I think it's mostly domesticated cats. And domesticated cats, they were spliced with wild cats, rabbits, and certain serpent. Now, these creatures, these domesticated cats, they are known for doing something called side trailing. It's called side trailing. And if you own the cat and you move hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles away from the cat, that cat will be able to trace you wherever you go in the United States. And it's already been proven. And it can't be pheromones. It cannot be scent molecules, because scent molecules, you're not able to. Scent molecules do not travel hundreds and hundreds of miles away. You see what I'm saying? So it's not scent molecules. It has to be something else. So, the only thing that they're saying is it's called side trailing. And that's because also the cat has a very hyperactive pineal gland, and to the point to where they can see, which souls are who.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you, let me ask you, do you desire, because of what you just said about the leaving this realm and not coming back to this realm, do you have a desire for what we in this realm will call success? Like, I want to be a musician, or I want to be financially successful, or I want to have a family, or I want this, or I want that, or is your mission strictly to get the hell up out of here, and you don't really care about having a family or being a famous musician or a famous singer or a famous rapper or a famous doctor, a lawyer? Like, do you have any of those desires, or do you just feel you want to get out of here?
To the people who do have those desires, I don't really think there's anything majorly wrong with it, as long as it's in your heart. You see what I'm saying? The problem arises when you're pursuing a life path, or you're pursuing some kind of accolade, and you're doing it because you're letting other people live their lives through you, or you're trying to get it, to fill some kind of insecurity void inside of yourself. When you do that, that's no good at all. So if you really, in your heart of hearts, if you really have a passion for doing something that can possibly get you, accolades in this society, as long as it's in your heart and you're not hurting anybody else to get to where you want to go, I don't really see anything wrong with it. Now, me personally, I've seen so much in this life, and I've experienced so much in this life, and I've learned so much in this life, to the point to where I think and feel in my soul that I know that there's higher entities that put me on this path for a reason. So I don't think that they gave me all this information just for me to indulge in what this matrix has to offer. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. Everything that I've been allowed to learn, I think is a sign that, I need to use that information to the best of my ability to get out of here. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Do you have any remembrance of past lives in this realm?
not picture memories. I have more so feelings of what happened with me in a past life. I know for a fact that I had parents that actually wanted to see me do well, that actually wanted to see me thrive and succeed in the matrix. And I believe that I did certain things to take advantage of them in the past life, and I don't think I really appreciated them to the fullest extent. So in this incarnation, I was born into like the opposite situation.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, I asked a question earlier about the archons intercepting souls from coming down here? Do you think an archon, if you're of a high frequency or high vibration, would purposely try to incarnate as your child to kind of cause some type of mischief in your life? Do you think that's a possibility?
That is a huge possibility. And according to my research, anytime you have an older soul coming back, 9 times out of 10, 95% of the time, they're going to come back in a family of newer souls. Now, on a spiritual level, I'm not too sure on why that happens, why it's set up that way. That's just the way it is. So according to my research, it might be due to the astrological chart. And what I'm starting to notice is people who have placements in their 9th, 11th, and 12th houses of their astrological chart seem to be older souls. The people who have placements, and when I say placements, I mean planets. So the people with planets in their 9th, 11th, and 12th houses, they seem to be older souls. Also, if you have Neptune or Uranus in your 10th house, you could also be an older soul as well. So when we talk about the houses 9, 10, 11, and 12 in the astrological chart, those are the higher octave charts. They're called, the higher octave houses, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that signifies, higher levels of wisdom, higher levels of awareness.
RFG, what do you think is the you talked about the Black Americans being the so-called Black Americans or the descendants of the Washita being the Fire Nation. What would you say is our biggest organic technology that we possess?
Biggest organic technology would definitely would have to be the pineal gland, and then the high concentration of neuromelanin.
Well, when I say this, and I get that, but what I mean is in terms of our high concentration of neuromelanin, what does it project as in this realm? Does it project as us being athletic? Does it project at us being engineers? Like, how would that show itself in this realm? Our high concentration of neuromelanin.
Extremely high levels of Kundalini fire in our bodies. Extremely creative and innovative energy flowing through us.
Okay.
And I'm talking about, the utmost organic level of creativity that you could ever imagine.
Amazing. Yeah, people in the chat, Ryan. Yeah, creativity. So yeah, creativity. That's the main thing it would show as in this realm.
And then on a lower level, it enhances the athletic ability.
Oh, what about music? What about music?
Oh yeah, that's all in there with the organic creativity and certain inventions, different genres of music or different musical creations, certain trends, because the world follows the trends of Turtle Island. See what I'm saying? And that's dealing with the Kundalini fire, dealing with the frequency of organic creativity innovation, and being an initiator. You see what I'm saying? An initiator, a pioneer. Fire also rules the 3 fire houses of the astrological chart, which is house 1, house 5, and house 9. And that's all about being an initiator, being a leader, being a pioneer, having a powerful aura, powerful pizzazz, mass levels of confidence. And like I said, that can equivalent to you being some kind of inventor, innovator, whether that's dealing with music, art, science, athletics. That Kundalini force, it has to express itself in some way, one of those ways.
Mm-hmm. Do you practice Kundalini meditation? Have you ever gotten to that?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's days where I meditate for like 2-3 hours straight.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that's awesome, man. I've never gone 2-3 hours straight, man. That's all. So what is it like? Explain it to me. I want to hear firsthand. What is it like meditating for 2-3 hours straight, my brother?
When you do it, it's best to do that in the sunlight, especially on sunny days out in nature. And also it's equally as important to be alone. You want to be alone. You want to be in a natural environment. You want to do this when the sun is out. And you want to focus on yourself. You want to focus on your thoughts, your current emotions. And you also want to empty your mind of anything considered a distraction. So if anybody is trying to send negative energy towards you, I don't care who they are, you want to block them out. You want to use your energy. You want to use your focus. You want to use the energy of the sun, the energy of the earth. You want to use that energy to block whatever they're trying to cast on you. You use that grounding session to block all the negative frequencies out. And so the grounding session is literally you charging yourself like a battery. And you charging your aura, and your aura, it blocks off all that negative garbage.
Awesome. So you're big on grounding, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's something I just got in. I just got into grounding a couple of years ago, probably about 4 years ago. I started really getting into grounding, and I definitely think our community needs to get into that more. Definitely.
Oh yeah, because and especially if the descendants of the Washita, if they do that in mass, you better believe, you know what I'm saying, the boys in black and the boys in blue will be paying attention.
What do you think? Wow, this is an interesting show. Let me get back to this. Let me do this, family. Let me get back to this Instagram post he put up. All right, so in terms of eating animals or eating plants, and it being this system of constant killing, how do you feel about us eating animals? Is that something we have always done? Because there's a big debate whether we should practice veganism or not. What are your thoughts about the higher evolved souls, the old souls, and their diet? What do you think they should? Is there a particular diet an old soul should have?
The old soul is going to go through different stages of mental and spiritual evolution in their current body. And this should have started on a mass level in 2012. So from 2012 to now, they should have gone through different stages of this particular awakening of DNA evolution and spiritual evolution. So they must have felt the urges at some point to say to themselves, you know what? I don't think I'm going to eat pork anymore. It has the most parasites in it out of any other meat. So I'm just going to leave it alone. And it's extremely high in cholesterol. And you know what? I'm going to drop beef as well, because beef even though, you know, it may taste good, but it digests the slowest in our intestines, and it's the worst clogger of our colon, and it's also known for um, causing our hormonal levels to be completely out of balance. So you know what? Let me get rid of beef. You know, let me get rid of seafood, because seafood has extremely high levels of mercury and parasites. And when you talk about shrimp, crab, and lobster, shrimp, crab, and lobster eat feces.
Yeah.
We're talking about creatures that are known for eating fecal matter of creatures in the water. So why would I want, you know what I'm saying? Why would I want a creature like that in my system? You see what I'm saying? And even the chicken. Now, I will say the original chicken is called a jungle fowl, and this information has been out for a while now. But the jungle fowl and the turkey used to be actually very nutritious and healthy to our ancestors. The original Americans. But as time went on and as the world got colonized, we had some extra gene splicing going on, and the farm animals were created. And when the farm animals were created, they mixed the jungle fowl's DNA with rat DNA, albino rat DNA, and Neanderthal DNA. So you get Neanderthal DNA, rat DNA, jungle fowl DNA, and that's your chicken. You get your albino rat, your Neanderthal DNA, and your wild boar, and you get your pink farm pig. The pink farm pig is the wild boar spliced with the albino rat, and then a piece of Neanderthal DNA. So this is why they're actually finding the chicken genome. They're actually finding chicken genes that are embedded in certain people with certain levels of Neanderthal DNA in them. Because you see what I'm saying? So the whole agenda of genetically engineering farm animals into existence is actually a form of cannibalism.
Yikes, man. Wow. Let me take a couple of questions from the family before we get out of here. We're about to pass the hour. Family, didn't this hour go by so fast? This hour felt like 20 minutes, y'all.
Oh, heck yeah.
Wow. Oh, man. Before I get to the Q&A, RFG, what is your PayPal for those who want to support you and would like to donate to you, my brother?
PayPal, the PayPal is amoapoxia@gmail.com. And you spell that A, and then M as in Mandy, and then O, and then A, P as in Paul, OKSIA @gmail.com. And that is that's for PayPal and Zelle. I do not have a Cash App.
I just want to post this on the I'm writing it down. I just want to post it for those who want to show the brother some love. Hold up. Just want to show the brother some love for always coming on and dropping knowledge and doing the research and studying before the show. And the brother is putting in 3 hours of meditation. All of this is time consuming. Usually can't do stuff like this and engage in this much studying and have a normal life and a normal 9 to 5, because your life is so occupied. So for those who spend the majority of the time tapping into these higher sciences, I just definitely want us to support them so that they could at least have a comfortable living and continue to tap into these higher sciences, so that they could give us the information and make it easier for us to tap into who we are naturally. So PayPal and Zelle. The brother's email is on the screen. Make sure you show the brother some love. We're about to get to some questions. Real quick, before we get to the questions, is Dave in the chat? Dave, it's the brother that be coming on the live Q&A. You was just at the Gathering of the Masters.
Okay.
Dave, if you in the chat, let me know, because I want to Dave did some light language thing for me, and I want to tell him, son. If Dave is
Okay.
in the chat, let me know. I don't know if he's in the chat. Catch him next show if he's not. But yeah, I just want, if Dave is in the chat, let me know. Shout out to Kimberly for the super chat. Kimberly always showing super chat love. So shout out to Kimberly for the super chat love. Let's get some Q&A. Yeah, he does. They want to know, do you do regressions or readings? You do readings, right?
Yeah, I do birth chart readings, and then I do general consultations. So like if you're going through anything in your life, like any kind of issues, any kind of problems that you want to, speak to somebody just to get it off your chest or to get advice, you can set up a consultation with me. Also, if you have any questions regarding the information that I put out, I can answer those questions through a scheduled consultation. I do 15 to 20 minutes. I do 30 to 45 minutes. Then I do 50 minutes to an hour.
Excellent. All right. Latasha says, when is there another gathering of the masses? My question to you, Latasha, is why didn't you come to the one that just happened, Latasha? Should have been there. It was amazing, Latasha. Why weren't you there, Latasha? Why were you not there, Latasha? Nah, but I don't know, Latasha. But I just, you should have really came through, Latasha. It was absolutely amazing experience. But I don't know when the next one is gonna be, Latasha. But you should have came to this one, Latasha. Should have came. Okay. Be quiet. Is Yaldabaoth and Enlil or Yahweh the same? Leave this alone.
I believe that Enlil would be the sun. So Yaldabaoth is Saturn, Chronos. Saturn, Chronos, Dogon call him Ogo. That deity's son would be Zeus or Jupiter or Thor, and the Sumerian equivalent to that, I believe, should be Enlil.
Okay. Will you be selling a DVD? No, I don't sell DVDs, but it will be on my website. So yeah, the gathering will be on my website. It'll be up there by Friday. I'll give y'all more information on that. How they want to know how to get in touch with you. How would they get in touch with you for the readings?
You can contact me on Instagram. Instagram RFG _ chosen one, the number one. That's RFG _ chosen one, the number one. Also, you can contact me through email. I have two different emails. One of them was the one he just put on the screen. The other one is rfg.theheretic@gmail.com. So that's rfg.theheretic@gmail.com.
Okay. Next question. Can you ask him what is expected of the ancient ones who came back in this carnation? What is expected of us, RFG?
We have to do everything in our power to work together as a unit to the best of our ability. And we have to do what we can to gain the proper resources necessary to be able to survive on this earth without the help of any corporate government. And that's just for starters.
Excellent. Let's get to another question. I'm really loving this show, y'all. This is like and I'm still tired from the gathering. This show gave me some energy that I needed, man. Somebody wants, are you familiar with medicinal astrology? Are you familiar with that?
Medicinal astrology. Now, I learned about astrocartography about 2 years ago, but I've never heard of medicinal astrology.
Yeah, I never heard of that. That's a new one. Somebody wants to know, does fruit consumption raise your vibration?
Absolutely. And according to my research, fruits are what we're supposed to be eating the most. And when this world was somewhat of a utopia. When Atlantis and Lemuria were here, that's what we consumed most was fruits and liquids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fruits, nuts and grains and liquids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right. RFG, what are your thoughts on catalysms and major asteroids events in our past, and what timeline are we looking at in the near or distant future?
Did you mean to say cataclysms?
Yeah, I think that's what he
Oh,
meant.
okay. So, there's there's a chance. I mean, there's always that chance. But honestly, I don't. If it does happen, I don't think it's going to be natural. I think it's going to be planned out and orchestrated by the government. I think they're going to stage a scenario where they say multiple cities were hit with nuclear weapons, and they're going to drop bombs. The thing is, they're not going to be nuclear, and then they're going to lie and say the word nuclear to get people all riled up and fearful and in a state of panic. So, that's called a nuclear scare. So I see that happening, and then them supposedly getting the right to round people up because of that. I think that's more so the agenda. Now, like I said, there could be an asteroid that could hit anywhere on the Earth at any given moment. If it happens, I don't think that anything would be capable of destroying all life on this Earth, but it could happen. 50% of life could be gone. 80 to 90% can be gone.
Right. So let me ask you this. So you said earlier about the Archons not wanting to destroy their loose factory. Who's responsible, which is the Earth realm? Who's responsible for these great resets, RFG, when the great floods happen and the whole shit gets flooded out? Who's responsible for this then?
The same deities that are responsible for piloting those UFOs, those UFO crafts.
Explain that. Come on, man.
There's multiple, this has been happening for decades. UFOs love to show up over football games, soccer games. They love to show up in major war zones. The UFOs, they love to show up on farms. If there's, like I said, if there's animals being eaten, or carnivores eating herbivores, what I'm saying, you're going to see different forms of UFOs above because they're feeding off of loosh. And the reason why they show up over football games is because during a football game, the fans have a lot of powerful emotions. They really, really want their team to win. And then on the other side, the other fans, they want the other team to lose. And so there's a whole bunch of powerful emotions, powerful frequencies coming from the fans in the football stadium. And it was the same thing during the gladiatorial games, almost 2,000 years ago. UFOs appearing over that because they need the loosh. So we're going to see a lot of UFOs around mass conflict, usually mass conflict. And it was the same thing with the Predator movies. If you go back and watch the Predator movies, the Predator loved to show up when the humans were fighting, when the humans were conducting warfare. You see what I'm saying? So that's all dealing with loosh, harvesting and feeding upon those negative frequencies.
Are any of our galactic relatives, or are there old souls who are piloting these UFOs, in your opinion?
In order to be inside of one, you either have to be a so-called Men in Black, or you have to be, one of them. You have to be a form of an extraterrestrial. Now, whether that's a draconian, whether that is a gray or an insectoid, or one of the gods from Sirius, I believe it depends on the shape of the UFO. So I had a video on my Patreon little over a year ago, and I was breaking down the different shapes of the UFOs, and I was making a statement that I believe the cylinder, the UFOs that are shaped like a cylinder or shaped like a sphere, they come from Sirius, and that's extremely high level, extremely that right there is interdimensional. Those are interdimensional crafts, the cylinders and the spheres, and they have origins at the Sirius star constellation. Now, if the UFO is just a disc shape or a triangle, that means it's being crafted by draconians, insectoids, or the men in black. Anytime you see a craft, all right, or a UFO that's a triangle shape, a disc shape, those are being piloted by insectoids, grays, draconians, maybe sometimes the men in black, but mostly it's the insectoids, the grays, or the draconians. So it basically depends on the shape of the craft to tell you, who's piloting it.
Speaking of the all of these different groups, sectoids, draconians, and all of that, what is the Lyrians or Larians? I hope I'm saying it right. You know what I'm talking about. What is the Lyrians' connection to the Fire Nation? Since we talked about the Fire Nation and the Kundalini, is there a direct connection between the Lyrians and the Fire Nation here on Earth?
There's a deep connection. When you speak about the Lyrians are the deities that have the human DNA and then the feline DNA, and their homeworld was attacked by, I'm not sure if they're draconians or what extraterrestrial race they come from, but the Lyrian homeworld was attacked, so the Lyrians had to be accepted onto the Sirius star constellation. So you have Lyrians that are still dwelling in the Lyria star constellation. You also have Lyrians that are dwelling in Sirius. I don't believe too many of them are on the Earth's surface at this time. Now, back in the ancient day, when the Sphinx was built and things of that nature, when you had beings like Sekhmet roaming the Earth, they were here in abundance. I don't think they're here anymore.
So that they don't incarnate as humans in this realm?
Well, they can. No, okay, I see what you're saying. You're talking about on a spiritual level. Yeah, they can get incarnate here.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Let's get to. We're gonna do two more questions, then we're gonna get out of here. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat tonight. Which ones come from inner Earth? They want to know.
The insectoids.
Okay. That's it.
You have the draconians there as well, but the draconians, they don't originate from inner Earth. The draconians, they come from Orion.
Okay. They want to know, do you have a YouTube channel?
It's like I do, but I don't use it. I'm trying to actually break away from YouTube, and I'm trying to build, my Rumble channel up more. So when I get this gaming channel started, I'm going to be promoting the Rumble channel on the gaming channel.
Right. Indeed. Last question. Are old souls less affected by retrogrades since they've been here before? I've wondered that before, and I've asked that before. I'm glad this person is asking this tonight.
That's actually true. That's very true. Because an older soul is going to have, more higher level of knowledge, wisdom, also a stronger aura field. So anything that happens around us, especially if we're on the right frequency, we're on a high vibrational path, we're going to be less affected by any kind of demonic frequencies that are going to be spread in society. So when you talk about things like a full moon or a blood moon or a solar eclipse, those things are going to affect the people that are putting poison in their body. The people who are filled with, mostly low frequencies, and people who are on a parasitic vibration.
Indeed. Yeah. I'm gonna do another question real quick because this is real good.
Okay.
RFG, what are your thoughts on Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice. Oh man, it's so deep, man. So deep. Beetlejuice is actually a star in the sky. It's actually a star in the sky, and it was held in high regard by multiple indigenous American cultures. And they say when Beetlejuice hits a supernova, there's going to be a mass amount of light codes sent to this realm, sent to this earth, mass amounts of awakening, and an extreme overthrow of the parasitic control over this realm. Most of that, like I said, it's going to be tied to the light codes that were sent to this earth starting in 2012, and Beetlejuice, that Beetlejuice star, it hitting supernova, is also extremely connected to this awakening. Now, Beetlejuice, the movie specifically, it is directly linked to the reincarnation trap that has been created on this earth. So when the movie first starts out, the original one, you had Adam. I forgot what his girlfriend's name was, but I think the man was named Adam. And they died in a car crash, and their souls went through a wormhole onto the planet Saturn. And when they landed on the planet Saturn, this creature rose from the sand, and it was a giant sandworm. And the sandworm was trying to consume Adam and his woman. And Adam and his woman, they literally had to evade the sandworm, run for their lives, and go to a door so they could leave the planet Saturn. Now that door represents an interdimensional portal, a wormhole away from Saturn. Now, if that sandworm would have eaten Adam, Adam would have been reincarnated in a new body on the earth. And that's what they don't tell you about Beetlejuice, about that scene in Beetlejuice. They literally showed you the deity, the worm deity on Saturn, which is Yaldabaoth, how he tries to consume souls after they die. And then when Adam evaded, that sandworm, and he went to that door, that was an interdimensional portal that sent him back to Earth. Now, when he went back to Earth, he can only go to the fourth dimensional realm and speak to those deities because he doesn't have a physical body. So when he was speaking to the deities in the fourth dimension, he had to speak to these beings called the case workers. The case workers were archons. They were telling the souls, do you want to come back to Earth in this body? Do you want to come back to Earth playing this role in the Matrix? Do you want to come back to Earth and as this successful person? You see what I'm saying? Those were the case workers. And there was a scene when they were showing the case workers where they actually showed a gray extraterrestrial. They showed a gray extraterrestrial in that scene, showing you that the grays are also capable of going in and out of the third and fourth dimensional realm, the third and the fourth dimension. See, because when Adam was meeting with the case workers, that's the fourth dimensional realm where the archons assign the souls, what bodies they're going to take up in this realm.
Yeah, damn, brother. Wow, we need a whole Beetlejuice breakdown from you on the show, man. you just
Yeah,
went
man.
in, man. You just went in.
Beetlejuice is super deep, man.
It's interesting that y'all asked about Beetlejuice. Yo, I had a telescope that I've been procrastinating on putting up. I just put it up today, and I'm gonna
Okay.
do some stargazing tonight. So I look
Okay.
forward to that. I will do some stargazing. But listen, man, RFG, man, it's always a pleasure having you on the channel, my brother.
It's
Um,
greatly appreciated. I
yeah, I
appreciate
want
you having me on.
yeah, I want the people to go out there and support you. Hit up go to the brother's Instagram. The brother's Instagram is popping. Before we get out of here, one more time, leave the people your information as far as your Instagram. Tell them how they could get a reading from you, and also tell them how they can support you via PayPal, my brother.
Okay, you can reach me at RFG underscore chosen one, the number one on Instagram. And you can also reach me two different emails. I have amoapoxia@gmail.com. That's M as in Mandy, OAPOKSIA @gmail.com. Also rfg.theheretic@gmail.com. And if you need a chart reading, you need to message me on Instagram, DM me on Instagram, and I'll give you the full details. I also need your full date of birth, the exact time of day you were born, or close to the time of day you were born, and then the location of your birth. Now, I know there's a lot of people who want their charts read, but they can't get a hold of their birth certificate, and their parents don't remember the time when they're born. And when that happens, I'm not able to do the reading.
Okay. All right. Well, and you left your information for PayPal. You already left that, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's amoapoxia@gmail.com on PayPal.
Okay. And spell that one more time for them, just so they'll know.
That's A, and then M as in Mandy, and then OAP. And when I say P, I mean P as in Paul, OKSIA@gmail.com. So that's AMOAPOKSIA@gmail.com.
Indeed. All right. With that being said, my brother, and I still got to do. I know I told you this last time. I'm gonna be calling you soon, my brother. I want to get you on a panel.
Okay.
Have a nice talk, a nice extraterrestrial talk or something like that. I want to
Okay.
get you on a panel with some other folks. So I'm gonna be contacting you for that, my brother. But hey, I appreciate your time tonight. Keep up the great work. Keep doing what you got to do. We really appreciate your work, man. Have a good night, my brother.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on. You have a good one as well.
All right, brother. All right, peace.
Yep.
Peace, family.